South Philly's infamous Riverview movie theater opened on November 1st, 1991. For almost 30 years, it provided countless hours of magical entertainment, but not for nothing, the audiences were rowdy and the floors were sticky.
Films.
Cinema.
Well, we wore our movie T-shirts.
Yeah.
Wardrobe provided by South Fellini.
If you're watching the YouTube instead of listening to us on...
No one listens anymore. Everybody wants to see it.
Yeah, that's...
They want
because there's so much action.
They want to touch it. They want to smell it.
You can't smell it on YouTube. And that's a good thing. So for anybody who doesn't know, the Riverview is an infamous multiplex theater on Delaware Avenue in South Philadelphia.
It was.
It's
no longer.
It opened in the 90s. It closed kind of recently during the pandemic. It had a history for rowdy crowds and maybe some violent events.
Don't you feel like it's always about to reopen though?
Yeah.
It's not really shut down. They're renovating.
They didn't go anywhere. It's still there. It was shut down for periods in its past.
It was
and
shut
it
down
came
for periods
back.
in its past.
So don't count them out.
No, and I always think we will get into it, but on Always Sunny in Philadelphia, when they go to the movies, when Charlie brings spaghetti into the movie theater, it's the Riverview.
Right.
And I remember watching that, we were watching it together, and it was like, where would the Always Sunny gang go to the movies? The Riverview.
Of course they would.
They're not going to the Ritz.
You know, when I was a kid, I went to see Jurassic Park there at the Riverview, and a guy did bring his own spaghetti. He brought his own spaghetti in like a Tupperware.
Life imitates art. Art imitates life. Sometimes Always Sunny, just like non-Philadelphians, they don't know. It just hits so hard. It hurts. It's so real.
Yeah,
it's not
too real.
It's not a sitcom. It's like
that
cinema verite.
It's like Gummo. Do you remember the first movie you saw at the Riverview?
I feel like I've seen movies before this. I was trying to remember. I even asked my mom, where did we see? I thought it was Aladdin. She was like, oh, we saw the Newsies there. And you said Jurassic Park, and I definitely saw Jurassic Park there too.
Yeah. First movie I went to go see was December 15th, 1991, Hook.
You're so much more thorough than I am. I just named 12 movies.
I went I kept my movie stubs. I got my movie stubs. We're gonna go through them later, so I know exactly. I know it's showing. I went to.
Are they in chronological or alphabetical order?
Chronological. Come on.
I don't know.
No, they're in no particular order.
Okay.
They were in I found them. I
mixed them up.
You did. You did mix them up. You shuffled them.
This one stinks. This one's good.
I do remember going to the Riverview for the first time. I do remember seeing Hook. It was my brother's birthday. My parents took us out there. I remember being very impressed with it because it was this huge neon spectacle.
Right? Yeah.
Previous to that, I had only really gone to movie theaters like the Colonial on Rittner and Moymensing, which is like a one room.
That's where my parents saw
Love Story. And I just remember it being very dark and dingy, and I was like, that's what movie theaters are. They're dark and weird. And so, and the Colonial was a place I saw cartoon movies like Transformers and the Pound Puppies and Fern Gully and things like that.
The other theaters in Philly used to be actual theaters that got turned into movie theaters.
Yeah.
I remember those when I was really little.
I don't know if the Colonial was that, but you're right. Most theaters were theaters before they became cinema theaters.
Acting is plays are out, talkies are in. And those were still around when we were young.
Talkies. No, you mean these old theaters.
Yeah.
Yeah, there were a couple still around, a bunch in Center City. We talked about it on a previous podcast. There was a lot of those theaters became porn theaters by the 80s. So
very cool.
Wasn't a lot of very cool.
Very cool.
So there wasn't a lot of options for family cinema before the Riverview came along. And I remember from our first trip there, actually, that the projector gave out on the last reel as Toodles.
On Hook?
On Hook. As Toodles.
How does it end?
As Toodles is flying away. The old man, he found his marbles.
Yeah, right.
Spoilers. he's going, oh, I'm flying. Boom, cuts, and the lights come up, and an usher comes out, and he's like, that's it, movie's over, projector broke. And I was like, well, what about the rest of the movie? And they were like, that was it. It was only like
Peter Pan grows up and gets a job. I saw Patch Adams there on a date in college, and the projector died. And
maybe it's something about Robin Williams movies.
Maybe something about Robert. And I think it was probably for the best for the date that we didn't actually see that movie. Downer.
Yeah. Get over to the Philly Rock quicker.
I need to go to Philly Rock. I need
get her out. This movie's a bummer. Let's get some.
Let's go play some Qzar.
Let's play some laser tag.
Let's do some laser tag.
The compound, the facility, whatever, the area that the
compound,
the shopping center that the movie theater was in also had a laser tag place, an off-brand Philly themed hard rock.
They had the Chinese restaurant next to it, Walk and Roll.
Walk and Roll.
Is that racist?
Probably.
I don't know, but that's what it was called.
And then it became an arcade.
We've talked about this before, but there was always like this great effort to make different parts of Delaware Avenue, Columbus Boulevard, like this is the spot. This is the new Disneyland, and it was like Dave and Buster's area was like kind of like this is gonna be built up, and families are gonna come from all over the country to come to the Dave and Buster's Plaza, and Riverview was like that, Riverview Plaza, and the strip club plaza,
the strip club district.
Yes, all the strip. the one that has like its own like water tower. Like, what goes on in there?
They're very thirsty. You gotta stay hydrated. Do you remember the first movie you went to go see with your friends? No family, on your own?
Me and my friend Joe went. And we had tickets to see Beavis and Butthead Do America. And then we snuck in to see Mars Attacks.
Which one did you like better?
You know, as a kid, I was like, man, this Mars Attacks was phenomenal. And Beavis and Butthead was like funny because, you know, you're a kid and you're like,
a lot of good needle drops.
It used to be like, you could just like walk from theater to theater.
Yeah.
And I mean, during the day, like it was kind of empty. I don't know if not saying that they let us do it, but it was very easy to just like jump to the next thing and then jump to the next thing.
When the theater first opened up, it was one floor. And so all of the screening
and had
rooms,
the names.
Yeah. So you could be like, oh, they're showing this movie in here. I'm going to go see that after I'm done on this one.
Yeah.
You know?
And then I remember when we were done, the Riverview used to have parking on the roof. I guess it was smaller then, and we went up there and we like threw our sodas off the roof.
Beavis and Butthead, very bad influence.
Yes. What would Beavis do in this situation?
Well, that was the other thing that was really convenient about Riverview was there was so much parking. When they first opened, it was only one floor, so there's parking on the roof. There's a parking lot, and then there's
my most South Philly voice. But what about the parking? Well, don't worry, sir. Don't worry, Anthony. There's parking on the roof.
And there's parking all along under I-95. Mm-hmm.
And there's parking right in front of the place.
I remember going down with my friends a lot, actually, in grade school because it was walkable from my house. So a lot of Friday nights, I would end up down there. Even if I wasn't going to the movies, just to like, you know, I knew I'd run into somebody or my two friends and I would find somebody.
Mm-hmm.
But I remember the first time we tried to go to the movies by ourselves, we wanted to see Rumble in the Bronx, but it was
Rumble.
But it was like rated R or whatever, and we were clearly not adults. So the ticket master, the ticket taker, or whatever.
Ticket master.
That's what they prefer to be called. He was like, "Why don't you buy a ticket for another movie instead?" And it like kind of took us a minute to like get what he was trying to say, like. So we bought tickets to see the Kelsey Grammer vehicle Periscope Down, and then we snuck into
Kelsey Grammer. Like, did he play Frasier in that movie?
You ever get kicked out of the Riverview?
No, but they got my friend Joe. I remember we went to see a movie, and he got pretzel nuggets, and it had like the cheese on it, and like you pull the paper like this. The lid off the cheese, and he got it, and he ran up to the screen, and he jumped up and smacked it on the screen.
Why?
And it stuck. And I was like, man, why'd you do that? And everybody in the theater was so mad. We should have got kicked out, but we did not.
I got kicked out of there, but it wasn't by the staff. One time hanging out with my friends, we tried to sneak from one movie to another. I don't know, maybe we were trying to see Independence Day twice, something like that. Mm-hmm. And our teacher caught us. He was there at the movies doing human things. But
with a teacher having a life, it was always so weird to see a teacher like out in their civilian clothing. And
we panicked. We were like little 8th graders, and we screamed when Mr. Perillo found us. We were like, ah!
That's what people don't understand. Like years ago, the city was like overrun with Catholic school kids.
And we were wearing our school uniforms too. And it all said like St. Nick's on
your tie on, your clip-ons.
Were you ever there when a fight broke out? Were you ever there when some craziness went down? Or were you always the source of craziness?
No, I was never part of a fight. I've always avoided violence, and I still do. Unless I deserve it. No,
all my crimes are food-based.
No, I never was part of a fight. There. What about you?
I was never in a fight, but I observed. I was there for a different Peter Pan film many years later.
What was the other Peter Pan film?
I don't know. It was like in 2003. It was like a regular Peter Pan movie. Like Hook has a twist.
It wasn't one that was on TV. Like
it had kids in it. It was like a Disney live action Peter Pan thing. And so I'm at this theater, and one group of teenage girls got into a fight with another group of teenage girls, and it started with like name calling, and then it turned into like a real fist fight.
Awesome.
And
were they Goretti girls?
They were wearing their school uniforms. I could tell. And the ushers tried to kick them out, and they couldn't. There was too many
of them.
Too many of them. They overpowered the ushers. Did you ever do any secret screenings or sneak peeks?
You know I did. We went together.
Well, I went to some
without
you.
Why are you asking me?
I went to some without you. So maybe you should be asking me.
Did you ever go to any sneak passes?
Yes, I did some sneak passes. I did some sneak peeks at the Riverview Theater as a youngin'.
What did you see?
In my sophomore year of high school, I don't remember exactly how, but your cousin Dennis got tickets.
He's your cousin Dennis.
Well, he did pick me. He got these passes to see Kevin Smith's Dogma a year before it came out.
That's a banned film.
It was one
Still
of those.
Banned, right?
It's edgy. It's about religion and Catholicism and stuff.
Isn't it out of circulation? Isn't that the deal?
It might be. It might not be available. It's definitely.
So you like Kevin Smith? Kevin Smith might watch this, so you gotta.
I have no beef with Kevin Smith. We went to go see his movie, and it had all temporary special effects and temporary sound and music. And they gave us these cue cards afterwards, and I thought it was going to be about, like, what do you think about this music, and what do you think about that? But it was all about, like, how offensive the movie was. Like, were you offended by this? Was this offensive?
Really?
Yeah, because the movie was, like, all about the second, maybe it was the second coming of Christ or something. It was like edgy for the time, and so they made us fill out these cards about like what we thought about it. And obviously,
you're
Dennis,
like, gold,
awesome,
gold.
Yeah, 5 stars the whole way.
More Kevin Smith. More Jane Silent Bob.
As a sophomore in Catholic high school, I was like, could we get more of that heresy? I'm really enjoying it. And then Dennis and I were just going to, like, walk home or whatever, and we left the theater, and his mom was outside. Our report cards had gotten mailed home while we were at the movies. And we did so bad.
My Aunt Donna was like, clunked your heads together.
we rode in the back seat like it was an Uber. And she
like
just
a cop car. We got sneak passes from the comic book shop on Passyunk Avenue to see American Pie. And it was like months before it came out. There wasn't even like, and for some reason,
no trailers.
No trailers. Frank Fedano knew that there was like a very crude scene with a pie. He's like, this movie's about having sex with pies. This movie's about having sex with pies.
I didn't believe him
at
all.
There's no way. What are you talking about? I don't know why he even knew that, because there wasn't like, where did he see that? And we all got sneak passes, and I remember we all sat down, and it was like, That's what this movie's about.
He was right.
Frank was right. Frank was right. And I thought it was like the greatest movie I'd ever seen.
It was an amazing.
And I did what they wanted. I went to school the next day. I was like homeroom. It's like, yo, everybody, you gotta see this movie. It's the best movie I've ever seen. And I was like, man, what a.
I want to take this opportunity to go through some of my ticket stubs here, and most of these are movies that I went to see with you, Trov.
With me. So
I'm gonna. These are in no particular order. Okay, I'm gonna say the movie. You tell me your enjoyment of the experience. what you rate the experience, not just the movie, but the whole experience.
Do you have the one that we saw?
Well, we'll see. We'll see. Okay. Lord of the Rings.
Hated it. Although we had a good time.
I do remember you made a sword out of your pretzel nuggets.
That was so bored. It's boring.
It was a long movie.
Yeah, I hit everybody with my pretzel.
You did come after
sword.
PJ with your pretzel sword.
Mm-hmm. I found him as a threat, so I had to.
Highlander.
We didn't go together, but it's a good movie.
The Exorcist.
Oh man, that was great.
That was a great.
I love The Exorcist.
It's truly scary, and they added back.
And everybody we went with was like, all of our friends were like scared to death because they added the scene where she like runs down the steps and
the crab walk.
The crab walk was terrifying.
Oh man, it still gives me like goosebumps on the back of my neck. Spinal Tap.
That was a great time.
This was the first time I think I saw it.
First time I ever saw it too.
This one looks like Spice World.
Yeah, I love Spice World. I love any movie with meatloaf in it.
The food or the artist.
Food or the artist. You want to? Spice Girls movie's pretty good.
Yeah,
pretty good.
So you're saying recommend?
Thumbs up.
I didn't go to see this one with you, but I skipped. I was in college and I skipped class.
I already know what it is. You and PJ went, and I was like, "Why didn't you guys invite me?" Like, well, you never saw the first one. Like, I don't care. I like skipping school. Like,
it was Blade 2.
Blade 2. And then you just talked about it nonstop. Like, all right.
It was pretty good. We skipped school for it.
Blade 2.
Behind Enemy Lines.
I don't know what that is.
That's Owen Wilson as an action star.
Oh, is it a Wes Anderson movie?
No. It would have been better if it was.
No. Oh, great color palette.
I'm pretty sure Gene Hackman's in it. Spider-Man.
Oh, we saw that together. That was
a big deal.
That was an outing. That was, it's funny.
A lot of people came. We did a whole group.
We did a whole group.
I remember that we went with so many people. You and I sat in different rows. And
wow.
After the movie, you turned around and you held up your socks and said that movie literally rocked my socks off.
I had a lot of sight gags.
Yeah,
you used
to be a prop comic.
I was a prop comic, yeah.
Shrek. I know we went to see Shrek together, but it might not have been the only time you went to go see Shrek.
I love Shrek. I love all the Shreks.
You went to see it a few times.
Yeah.
Geez, I don't know what this movie is. It just says Evolution on the ticket.
I don't know.
Mummy 3, The Scorpion King.
Oh, yeah. Great movie.
Yeah, we went to see this. And again, this is one of those movies where we didn't see the first two.
No,
no,
but it's like you don't have to.
What do I got here? Jurassic Park 3. We went to see this together.
Oh man, I remember because I was working to talk about one of our older episodes. I remember I was working at City Hall.
Yeah,
and I came in and told everybody how great it was. The other guy I worked there, I think he was in film school, and he was like, "This movie's gonna stink. It's gonna stink." And I was like, "No, it was great.
It was the last good Jurassic Park movie."
Yeah,
I'll stake my reputation on it.
Mm-hmm.
Man on the Moon.
Oh, the Andy Kaufman movie.
The Andy Kaufman movie.
Love it.
I remember going to this one with Joe as well, and we sat down. It was already dark when we sat down because we got there. The trailers were already going.
Yeah. And
our feet were sloshing around. We were like, oh, they must have just washed the floor. And then whatever was down there started to congeal, and we were like, oh, no, this is vomit or something. And we got up and moved.
It was an Andy Kaufman guy.
The Hannibal Lecter movie. Did we see that together? We're big Silence of the Lambs fans.
I don't remember if we saw it together, but I love that movie.
Austin Powers 2. We did see this together.
We did?
Yeah, this is the movie. He makes a gag or a joke at the end about moon
Unit Zappa.
Yes, and we were the only ones who laughed. It's Frank Zappa's daughter's
We
real
love
name.
Frank Zappa, so.
But it wasn't really a joke. It's just a reference.
He just said that. Yeah, he said it. Like, we know what that is.
Yeah. Return of the Jedi, Empire Strikes Back, Star Wars. I went to go see these all on the same day with my brother.
Oh no, I mean I saw them, but Star Wars is all right. Fine.
More of a Star Trek guy.
More of a Trekkie.
Passion of the Christ.
Yeah, I did see that.
We saw that.
We had Easter bread. We were like, had a ham pie in my pocket.
Oh, that ham pie.
Yeah.
Made me sick. And then I have several tickets here for Kill Bill. We went to see it.
We saw that so many times.
We saw it 3 times on the first weekend.
Yeah, that was. Guys, this is the best movie I've ever seen in my life.
Planet of the Apes. This has got to be the Tim Burton one.
No, I guess I never saw the. Was that the newer ones?
It's gotta be from the early 2000s because actually you and I did watch this movie.
I did see that.
When we were doing our cross country road trip. We watched it in a motel in Arizona one night. It was the only thing on, but I don't know if we went to see it at the Riverview together.
I don't think so. You didn't say it, but what was the? We were going to do a college party, and before we went to go see what was that movie?
Oh, geez,
Requiem for a Dream.
Yeah,
we were going to go out to have a great time, and we like, let's go see this movie real quick. It's supposed to be really good, and you told me it was like A Clockwork Orange, and I thought you meant that was gonna be like kind of campy for some reason, and it was a scary movie about heroin. And we went to the party, and I told everybody not to take diet pills.
When the movie ended and the lights came up, there was only a handful of people there, and you said, and in dead silence, you said, "You told me this was a comedy."
You told me it was gonna be funny.
Now it's one of your favorite movies.
That was one of my favorite.
And the last one I have, I know we went to see it together, was Unbreakable, the Philly-based M. Night Shyamalan movie about.
It was made for us.
It was made for us.
It was made for us.
About Samuel L. Jackson fighting or versus Bruce Willis in a contest of wills or something.
Yes. Great movie.
Good time.
Liked it.
Do you remember the last movie you saw at Riverview before it closed?
Yes, they reissued the Elvis 1968 tour movie, and me and Dave Kiss went to go see it, and we loved it.
That's awesome. Good experience.
Yeah, it wasn't any people there. They showed like a making of movie, like kind of went with it. It was like, it's corny, but it was like really. It was cool to see that on like the big screen too.
Yeah, I love that they would do stuff
Dream,
like that.
we were like, yeah, we were going nuts,
Like the girls at the Taylor Swift movie.
Yeah.
You guys are dancing in the aisles.
Crying.
Last movie I saw was Godzilla King of the Monsters. Similarly, also brought me to tears.
Yeah.
That was in 2019, and I never got back to the theater, to the Riverview Theater before.
You didn't know it was going to be your last time, right?
I know, no. If I did, I would have done more shit. I would have tried to sneak into a second movie. I would
ate more popcorn.
I would have gotten some Dippin' Dots. Now I don't know where to get Dippin' Dots.
Dippin' Dots. It was the only supplier of Dippin' Dots.
That was my favorite novelty snack at Riverview. I don't know if you had one.
No, I was more of a Twizzler boy, but there's nothing really novelty about Twizzlers.
No, I guess not.
I don't really know what licorice is.
Okay, I think with that,
that's it. At the end,
I think with that we should leave it there.
Okay. Sign up for our Patreon. Shop at our T-shirt shop.
Yeah, we're South Fellini. We're at 1507 East Passyunk Avenue. You can find us online at southfellini.com. That's SOUTHFELLINI.com. We're
Look at you off the top of your old noggin.
Boom. Follow us on Spotify, YouTube, Apple iTunes, and subscribe to our Patreon for more riveting conversations like this.
Better content.
Even better stuff than this.